In my opinion, buying a condo pre-construction or at any time up until the point where a sale in that condo building would be considered a resale property is not a great idea. And there's a whole litany of reasons why I feel that way, but they are too long and too many and too varied to talk about in one video. So today's topic is going to be my pre-construction pitfall number 1, the occupancy phase. So the occupancy phase is a time where you are able to move into your unit. Let's say you've bought on the 5th floor and it's a 30-story building. So the 5th floor and the floors above you are complete and you're able to occupy the unit. But there's still work going on the upper levels. There's probably still construction going on in the common spaces and in the amenities and places like that. And so the city says that the building is incomplete. And because the building is incomplete, you can't, not you, but the developers can't register the building to have a corporation number, a corporation plan. And because they can't register the building, you can't register title, okay? You can't register ownership for your unit. And if you can't register title, that means that you can't register a mortgage. So you're able to live in your unit and occupy. You have to pay money to be there, but it is not your mortgage payment. Okay? So essentially what you're doing is during that occupancy phase, okay, the length of time between when you can move into a unit and when the building gets registered, you essentially have to pay rent on what you own because you can't get a mortgage. So the occupancy phase, all builders, I would think, strive to have the occupancy phase be roughly 3 months in time. So from the time that people kind of move into their unit to the time that they register with the city, it's about 3 months. But that occupancy phase can actually vary quite a bit depending on the project and the developer and their experience and the city and how backed up their inspectors are and all kinds of different factors. And it's not uncommon for an occupancy phase to be 6 months, 9 months, sometimes a year. And there are some projects in the city, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are some projects where the occupancy phase has been multiple years. That's obviously a big problem. You paid a lot of money 2-3 years ago, or maybe you bought it as an assignment sale, so you bought it relatively recently. But the idea about real estate is that you get a mortgage, you make mortgage payments, and it's like a forced savings plan, and you can't do that until the building registers. So this is a big issue that I have with buying a condo that is not resale, is that you don't know how long that occupancy phase is going to be. And even if you were buying a condo that was in its assignment period, which means that it's already in its occupancy phase, you don't know how much longer that occupancy phase is going to last. I have had clients who, despite my my urgings or my suggestions or whatever, they wanted to buy an assignment sale anyway. And we were told by the representatives for the developers that, oh, we should be registering at any time now. And it still took another 3 months, and they had already been in the occupancy phase for a number of months. So there's just unfortunately no telling, and it's not always the developer's fault, but the case is that whose fault it is doesn't matter. You can't register a mortgage and you can't start paying your mortgage down. So this is a big pitfall. This is one of the biggest pitfalls, in my opinion, for buying a property that is not resale. And my suggestion would be to take a real good look at the resale options before you consider pre-construction or assignment condo sales. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time, and take care.